Okay, we're back, guys.
We're back. Technical
So sorry about
difficulties.
that.
Yep. Sorry about that, everybody.
I had it pulled up on my iPad so I could follow comments,
Yeah.
So you did do it.
but I can't get back in.
I think it was the next slide with Michonne.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
We still have 0.
Yeah.
There we go. We go.
Right.
All right.
All right.
All right. Sorry, guys. We had some technical difficulties. Apparently, I'm just too smoking hot for Facebook.
Carol must have showed some cleavage or something.
I guess I just exposed myself too much.
Expose myself.
All right. All right. Let us know you guys are back. Hi, Jennifer.
Okay, for anybody that's watching that doesn't know us, we are a podcast.
Right.
Yes, and please send us a message if there's something you're offended by.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Or
Exactly.
scroll on.
You moved it.
Yeah. Send us a message or scroll on by.
That's
Yep.
right.
Like,
All right.
go that way.
Oh, my
All right. So Terry, you were saying something about this particular scene before we got there.
This is right after she saw the one that looks like herself, the walker, that kind of snapped her out of her funk that she was in. And this is where she decided to kill the pets and kill everything, all the walkers that she was walking amongst. Because she realized that she went down that path again and she needed to get back out of it.
Right.
Go after her real.
Good way to take out some anger.
Right.
Mhm.
Go find that answer she was really looking for.
So this is the tracks that she saw, the boots. This is the real location that Dawn sent pictures of that she has actually been to. Dawn, where is that?
I don't remember. Where do you remember, Barb? Is it in Sonoy? I think it's in Sonoy and that or some near there.
I don't know. We have been to so many locations. They all blend together, and Dawn's usually the one that says, "Oh yeah, it was in Fairborn, Georgia. Oh, it was in here." I'm like, I don't remember. It's there.
I think it's someplace close in Sonoy. It's not very far.
Yeah.
And Barb,
And I didn't see Andy's name written on the bottom of that boot at all.
Right?
It's making me-
I was looking too, Terry. I was scrolling in just to see.
Right?
Dawn was down there touching the floor.
yeah, I'm like Barb,
DNA.
take my picture.
It's like,
Yeah. She was licking the mud.
yeah,
Oh,
this
So
right
this
here.
that was a heartbreaking scene.
Yeah.
Because they really let you think,
Just take
even though you know, but
Whoa.
it still made him think, oh no, because the sounds that were being made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have sucked if he actually shot him and he wasn't dead.
Like,
You couldn't
Right.
do it. Just take me.
but yeah, that right there is when it really came to fruition, the fear that was built up in him. And instead of anger, it was coming out.
I win anymore.
Yeah, it wasn't I win anymore. So that whole turn, that he just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. He just resigned himself that was it. That's how he was going out.
Right.
And then we have the pudding shot
Yep.
where Michonne. Go ahead, Terry.
112 ounces of pudding that was gone.
That's why he's actually crying, y'all, in that other picture.
Yeah,
He got too much
He got a
pudding.
tummy ache.
I think the throw up scene was way too early. That was after cereal and 3 walkers. I think it would have been after the pudding.
Yeah. Ew. Ew. I love this is my favorite scene of the whole thing. I love this where she sees him. She thanks, and she's grateful that she finds him. And then Rick says it's for you, and it just goes back to that whole fact that him and her are best friends. That Carl and Joan are best friends.
Right.
So,
and she came off the other side of it that she was at the beginning.
Right.
And them sitting there talking to each other, Rick acknowledging, no, you're a man.
Yeah.
But Carl still knows that he's still a kid.
But I think that he respects his dad more.
He respects him more now.
Yeah.
Based on the fact he didn't have him.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah, not like that little stab he threw at him, like Shane.
Right.
Remember
Right.
him?
Yeah.
Right. He was really trying to
Yes.
get him. He was sending him stingers big time. So yeah.
Yeah. So then here we get to Kay's episode, The Grove.
Oh yeah. Did you ever listen to the words of that song they play in the beginning of the show? This episode.
What song is it?
I don't know what the song is, some old timey thing, but it's something along the lines of. I wrote it down. Hold on. Find my page.
I'm surprised you don't know what the song is, Carol. You usually like your music.
Ring Around the Rosie or something like that?
Maybe when you're alone, you will think of me. Maybe the one who is waiting for you will prove you untrue.
Oh.
Then what will you do? And then it cuts into the main theme of the song. So it kind of goes that you got Carol who's struggling with trying to tell Tyrese, what will you do? You've got Lizzie who's going absolutely nuts the wrong way. She thinks dead people are alive and she could care less about the live ones.
Mm-hmm. Right.
How she treats live people,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like a little foreshadowing of the episode right
Yeah.
here.
Kettle kind of
With the music and how the scene sets up.
things and
Right.
May have to go back and listen to just that song on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull up the caption and it'll have the words.
we had to caption this so we could see
so
what
you
they
can
were
see the
saying.
words being said.
Actually hear it, but that was kind of cool.
So this is the scene at the very beginning where Carol's making tea and Lizzie is playing in the yard with the walker. And the real location is actually the window that Carol supposedly looked through. Is that right, Dawn?
Mm-hmm. That's what the lady, that's what the owner of the house said.
Okay.
She hears Lizzie.
Right. So if you've been to Sonoy, you've seen this location because this is where the tracks are. You've
Right.
probably taken pictures a million times under this bridge.
Yeah.
So, but this is where Carol and Lizzie, where they spent the night, and Tyrese and Mika were asleep on the tracks, and Carol was keeping watch. And they have that whole conversation. So yes, this is where they get the sap. I love this picture. This is where they get the sap from the tree, and you can see Tyrese and Mika down there on the tracks down there. And it's actually just right past the bridge, the thing that I showed in the previous the previous slide. This was my first trip to Sonoy, and we actually found this location by complete accident. And
Now, Carol, pictures like this is why we're going against community standards.
oh, is that right? Yeah, right. Yes. So let me change that slide real quick. So anyway, so they get to the Grove and the Grove house, and Carol and Tyrese go into the house to clear it, make sure there's no walkers, and one comes out and Mika has to kill it while Lizzie is sitting there watching it. And now this is where we get to look at the flowers.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
And I
is,
thought it was so interesting how Carol paid attention to that.
yeah,
Right.
She
Right.
really took notice of that.
yeah.
Well, and the things that are said right into here kind of tells a little bit about Mika. And she listened to her mom, things work out the way they're supposed to be, that kind of thing. and some things that were said about, I think it's the night before when she talked to Lizzie, Carol talked to Lizzie, and she asked her about her daughter, about does she have any kids,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
she
she
didn't have a mean
said,
bone in her body.
yeah, she was really sweet. She didn't have a mean bone in her body. And that plays again when she talks about Mika.
Right. It draws a parallel for sure.
Yeah.
So I did this slide because I was hoping that Sharon D would be watching. Sharon D, now that you are crocheting and knitting these dolls or whatever it is, we need a Griselda Gunderson.
Right?
There you go, Sharon. Griselda Gunderson.
We need a Griselda Gunderson. It needs to happen, honey.
Gotta have a Griselda.
I just love that doll. I think it's the cutest thing ever. And I love Mika when she finds it. She's so innocent.
Mhm.
Best acting ever.
Yeah. This scene just blows me away with her. She's creepy as hell, but this one, man, she just left everything right. She gave everything.
So how old was she when she did this?
Like
Oh.
12, maybe. Really? Maybe a little older.
And if she has quit acting, that's a shame because she's got such potential as a 12-year-old. The depth, good Lord.
Yeah. I agree, Jennifer. All the kids in this show, they are so talented. Oh, there we have the deer where Carol takes Mika out to try and get a deer for dinner, and Mika can't do it. And there's the real location.
And if everybody notices, the real location doesn't have flowers because the owner told us that those were all fake flowers that they put out there.
And we got some.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy. The detail that they would go to putting fake flowers into the ground. That was just mind blowing.
That's crazy.
And didn't she say they filmed there like a month?
Oh yeah, yeah. They
was
stayed
a
in the
lot.
house. They
Yeah.
stayed in the house, took naps in the living room.
Yeah, she was saying Maggie even slept on the couch. Maggie wasn't even in. She just hung out.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
said Rick and them were playing football in the front yard or something.
Now, just remember, Jennifer, you mentioned something about going to see this location. This house is occupied, and the owners are very, very sweet. But let's just remember and respect, that they do live in this home. So we were very lucky that day to be able to have access to the house.
The owner's daughter actually got hired by AMC to become a location scout for them.
Yep.
Yeah, she got a whole job out of it.
Wow.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So in this, I just want to hear what Kay thinks about her mindset of this walker.
She sees a friend.
What do you? I mean, because she says she thinks that he wants her to change too, but
Mhm.
I don't understand her
It's almost
concept.
like she says that to Mika to kind of get, it's almost like, well, I can say this to her, well, maybe I'm going to change too, kind of like an attention thing, but it's really not with her because she's obsessed with them. She wants to be like that.
Almost like a pet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, her mind is warped. Things are backwards.
Mhm.
How she's-
Maybe that's her way of dealing with it. I don't know.
Right.
Well, with being a true psychopath that she is, she doesn't have emotions.
No.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't feel emotions, and the
No.
walkers don't feel emotions. They're just raw, just
Well,
going.
she feels emotions for them.
Yeah, she feels emotions. She was happy and
Yeah, and it's angry.
They're not real tangible emotions,
No.
especially when she knows how she's supposed to act.
Right.
That's why when she's around Carol and does the crying, and does that because
Right.
she knows that's what she's supposed to feel, but it's not how she feels.
She knows the
Well,
truth.
see, I
Right.
felt like when she was being chased, that she was so happy and having fun. I felt like that was a true emotion of hers.
Mhm.
How's that different from killing her sister and thinking,
True psychopaths don't have emotions like
yeah, it's just
normal
like
people.
you have a sister, you know, the way she's acting now, why would you want something like that as
Yeah.
a friend or a sister, you know?
Well, that's why.
Because you can relate to them because they're emotionless.
Right. See,
She wouldn't have to die.
she
She'd
is
already
in
be dead.
conflict with Mika because of how Mika is, her heart. She's
Mhm.
in conflict with her. So to not be in conflict and be in unison in her warped mind is to make Mika dead,
Right.
make
Yeah.
her a walker. Then she's going
Yeah.
to be on my side.
Right.
Gotcha.
So then we have some of the coolest walkers in this episode. We have
That's
the
from the Moonshine House.
yes, the smoking walkers.
Okay.
Smoke them if you got them.
Smoke them if you got them.
I think the one on the right is menthol.
It's 100s.
Is it
Yeah.
one of
So
those?
what okay, so what makes her okay to shoot these guys?
They're different.
They're different. They're not the same. 'Cause
Ah.
they're-
They're
yeah,
crispy critters.
Scary.
And I think
yeah,
and
they're
I think
crispy crotch critters. They're not.
yeah, and I think too she sees everybody doing it, so she's kind of like, well, I'm going to do it. Everybody's doing
Follow
it.
suit with the fear.
Yeah.
I had to help.
Well, she saw them doing it at the prison
Yeah.
through the fence.
So this is a very poignant conversation between Lizzie and Carol, because Carol thinks that Lizzie is starting to understand because Lizzie says, I know what I have to do now. But
Right.
Carol in her brain thinks, oh, Lizzie realized earlier that she has to kill them. And so now I'm going to compound on that. But in actuality, this is where Lizzie's planning on what she's going to do to Mika the next day.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And
So
you-
they're, and
And
Judith,
Judith.
and they're completely on different conversations, but Carol thinks that Lizzie's finally getting it.
Because
And
yeah, Carol's mindset was we can change, they can change, everybody can change,
Right.
but not everybody.
Not
so
Not
where
everybody.
Tyrese says, well, why don't we just stay here?
Right. So there's like a hope of having a family again,
Somewhat normal home.
normalcy. Even
Did y'all
though,
feel like if they stayed there that Tyrese and Carol were going to get it on?
Ouch, wow.
nah,
No,
no, I think they would. Besides the fact that Carol is still harboring guilt,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Karen, yeah.
but
it would be just
the other
friends.
thing is you see the way Lizzie's acting, whether Carol gets it or not, but then you have all these episodes that are happening. Why would two grown adults leave them for the second time alone?
Right. Kept leaving the kids by themselves. It's like,
Yeah, I had an issue with that. I had an issue with them going off and leaving
I'd be saying, come
A
on, Lizzie, you need
baby.
to go with me.
in Lizzie's
Yeah.
company. Yeah,
Whether
Well,
they
that's-
were in, crazy or not, you just don't leave kids to begin with.
well, I think that's where Carol in her head thought, oh, she's on the right page. I think that's why she left.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
she left before then, though, right? She left.
Yeah,
the
they
left-
had gone out.
this is the second time.
Yeah.
Because they went for water the first time. The next time is going to be for the deer.
Hmm.
Yeah, Ben, it happens the entire series. And Sharon D said Tyrol would be their ship name. Carol and Tyrese would be Tyrol.
That sounds like a headache.
Right? So here we have
Then we trying to get it on.
they're yeah. Although I have a feeling that Carol probably would have taken her socks off.
Yeah,
And then we have the
I
infamous
almost think that she's gonna tell him right there, but then she says something completely else.
uh-huh,
But the way the guilt is just written all over it.
right. And then we have the deer nuts and the beer nuts joke.
Right.
It's just under a buck.
Just
Yep.
and then they see it. And I have to say that never in my life would I ever have thought that, Glenn and Abe getting hammered was one thing, but I have to say that this was probably just the creepiest stuff that I've ever seen.
Well,
Most
here you have a kid that's a psycho killer.
Yeah, this solidifies the fact that Lizzie's a psycho. Like she's
Yeah.
a true psychopath.
Well, I mean, we had signs.
We had signs, but
We had signs,
we
but
didn't see 'em.
they didn't have those signs
Right,
because they didn't know the whole picture.
right.
And what's more is that she would go as far as to kill her own sister,
Yeah.
not just like killing Tyrese or another person, but her own flesh and blood.
And a baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a baby.
Behind what she was about to do.
Yeah.
Wesley says that was an oh shit, did that just happen scene.
Yes,
Yep.
it
Right.
did.
Yep.
It was definitely.
That's all their faces too.
Yeah. Well,
But-
and we go ahead.
I was gonna say, and Carol was so quick-witted to when she said I was about ready, and she's like, she can't even walk yet. Like I wouldn't
Mhm.
even thought of that. You're just like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
So
is
this-
so heartbreaking. Yeah.
This is the I love Melissa McBride because you can just see in her face, just no words. I mean, the top one,
Yeah.
she's saying, I'll just tie her up. I'll use her shoelaces. But after that, it's just the transition of her waiting for her to walk away and then her just breaking down and losing her shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Just everything she had hoped
Yeah.
just washed away she's back into brokenness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to think that in her brain, she's Sophia is there in her head too.
Yes.
That was what I was thinking, Carol. It was kind of like a
Right.
reliving
The
Sophia
Mika
moment.
comment. Yeah, because she had told Tyrese the same thing about what she told Lizzie about Sophia is what she told Tyrese about Mika.
Mhm.
Right.
So that parallel when she sees Mika laying there, it's like seeing Sophia
all
laying
over
there.
again.
All over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my heart broke and jaw dropped too, Jennifer. I agree.
Come back in this thing.
So now her and Tyrese are having this conversation in the kitchen, and she clearly states that Lizzie cannot be around people.
Or
Yeah,
And you-
he offered to take her away. That was one option, and he take Judith with him.
Yeah.
they
But,
should have took her to Terminus.
well, if they only knew it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that had to be so hard. I mean, if I ever get my call that I won with Michael Sharondy, when am I supposed to get that call with Michael Stressmeyer, whatever? How do you say his last name? I want to talk with him because that was his first episode that he directed, was this one.
Oh,
But the writers of this episode, that was a hard thing to dig to. Not just so much that a child killed a child, but now you have an adult that's going to have to kill a child. I mean, that was a hard jump. That was probably a hard jump for them to do in the writing, knowing that it's going to get backlash.
Right.
But I think that's why you have the discussion between her and Tyrese. It kind of lays out that there was no option.
Right.
She can't be around other living beings.
there is no option.
Right.
They were at wit's end. If they were going to continue on, she couldn't.
Right.
She couldn't be medicated. She couldn't.
Right.
No.
And this is the scene that I thought that would have broken The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Not Glenn and Abe, because people were upset and they were offended because it was, but this one here is on another level of sickness.
This is a child, regardless of her mental capacity and status. It's a child,
Uh-huh.
Right.
and you're shooting her in the back.
Right. Yeah, you're putting her down like a wounded dog.
I think in the real world that wouldn't have happened. I mean, not the real world, but they're in that situation of apocalypse. So, there's nothing else that they could do. But I can guarantee you, Carol might have taken her under her own wing and tried to heal her,
Well,
whether it was about walkers
here's
or
an
not.
option, but I don't know. I don't know because Carol, just before, when she saw everything, it kind of brought her back to the barn.
Mm-hmm.
And her mental capacity at that moment, she doesn't see being able to be a mentor to anybody at the moment.
Yeah.
She can't be, because she was trying to be a mom without saying I'm being your mom, because she told him, hey, I'm not your mother, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But she was still trying to be that mom, but she was doing it in a different way than a motherly way. She was doing it in a survivalist way
Yeah.
and didn't pick up on things that she felt she should have. If
Mm-hmm.
she had been more motherly, maybe she would have felt that more. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
and
then
I'm
she realizes that
Mhm.
when she sees the knife and the blood. And she
Well, and I think she, yeah, and I
feels
think
at
she
fault.
knew too.
Feels at fault.
Yeah, and I think she knew too that there was nothing that could be done
No.
to help heal her. There was no medical
They would
resources,
forever
no
be on their own.
medication. Yeah, there was nothing to heal that.
No.
And I think she was struggling too because she had promised the father that she would take care of them at the prison. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And Wes is right. Carol recognized that she was too far gone and couldn't be saved.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if it was an apocalyptic world and she was crazy in her own sense, how would things would be different with Carol and her.
But in a way, Carol did the right thing
Mhm.
here, because if they did try to keep her with them, the way she is, she'd get herself killed.
Mhm.
Or kill them.
All of them. Exactly.
Yeah, kill someone else.
I mean, you're already looking over your shoulder for these Death Eaters, and now someone that you're trying to protect and take care of
Could kill you in your sleep.
you too.
But it
It's
also
like watching Old Yeller.
Right.
but it also foreshadows of because how things were, how the baddies keep progressing
Yeah.
throughout the whole run of the show. This kind of leads you into some of that kind of mentality that comes from those groups.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
All the
Yeah.
trauma stuff he's seen.
The
and it's just how they
wolves and the
handle things.
others that they come across,
Yeah. And then here they are burying Mika and Lizzie.
Yeah.
And we stood on that spot.
Yep.
Yep. We did.
We're not supposed to walk up there.
And so Carol finally comes clean because she has nothing. She has nothing.
Right.
There's no point in pretending. There's no point in doing anything. She's just going to just lay it all out on the table, and Tyrese forgives her.
Yep. Because everything
But not
she was
forget.
trying to hold together was falling apart. Fell apart.
No.
Right.
It took a lot for him to forgive her. That was a big.
Yeah,
That was
because he
that was
grabbed
big stuff.
that gun and then he let go of the gun.
Yeah.
But
Which I didn't have in
it crossed his mind of picking up that gun and just blowing it away right there. But
Mhm.
but the restraint and the big heart that you could see from him from the beginning of knowing, we learned about his character, how much of a heart he has,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and just the capacity he has to love. Even though he showed the anger and the bull side,
Right.
the friend that he had grown to care for, telling him this, kind of the tear, you can see the emotional tear it has in him.
Yeah.
What to do. So
And then they leave the Grove and head to Terminus.
yep.
Oh Lord.
So here are some shots of our Grove visit with the flowers that we got.
Flowers. Don't look at them. Nobody's
that
behind.
That was said several times when we were there. Don't look at him.
Yeah, I was looking behind me. So.
That was a great experience, and she was so kind,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and had so many wonderful stories about when they were there, and
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It was very cool. And there you have it. So,
cool.
so thoughts, impressions, anybody in the audience? How you feel about these 2 episodes? Hi, Regina.
I feel like it was definitely a big maturation episode for Carl.
Mhm.
Kind of getting past his. I mean, we all deal with pain and loss in different ways, and he just, he was just a kid. All he knew was to lash out and be a turd. But I think when he really realized or thought that he had lost his dad, I think it was kind of a snap for him. And I think it was just a real good maturation because we see a different Carl after this episode, and I think this was a very pivotal episode for Carol. She really had to make some tough decisions all along, but she's always the one that saves everybody in the end.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, and I told you before, that's why I felt that these were like opposite sides of a coin, both these episodes, because you've got the after episode, you got physical brokenness and mental and heart broken from Michonne and Carl, and they're just defeat
Mm-hmm.
on them, and how they come to the end where there's hope and forgiveness, and kind of like how the bond changed. The
Right.
dynamic between father and son went from me barking orders to you and being, no pun intended, a helicopter parent. But that's what he was. Rick was a helicopter parent. And Carl had to grow. And the only way to grow was he had to feel it himself. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then the grove was where the hope was a facade in some of their minds,
Mhm.
and it breaks apart and comes apart where it's like the wound is fresh at the end of the episode. It's kind of like fresh wounds as they're walking off.
Yeah.
So
I
that's the
agree.
way I picked up on them. So
What about you, Kay?
Mhm.
sorry,
Uh-huh.
turn it on.
He pretty much
Ditto.
Ditto.
Why you
I'll
say it?
did. I'll make you feel it.
So Wes,
Did y'all dress alike?
No, it was cold in here. I went and got mine and didn't realize he even had that on.
I've got my
Jennifer Davidson said, I think it was a realization for Rick too to not see Carl any longer as a little kid.
right.
I think he says he's a man or something like that now, doesn't
Right.
he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
so Wes and Regina both have mentioned what a glorious beard you have, Terry.
Stop,
Stop it.
stop it.
What about you, Barb? What are your thoughts?
I hated both episodes.
I know. She's so
No,
callous.
like I told you guys pre-show, I said The Grove is one of my favorites. I mean, everybody's acting is great in it, but Lizzie's one of my favorite child actors. The craziness that she plays and stuff. After, yeah, I love the realization that Carl has, like Terry was saying, about he really does need his dad, I love his little puns though at Rick, like Shane, you remember him,
Right.
as much of a smart ass as he is. I mean, some of them were really good digs. It was like, damn. what you
Yeah,
got to
'cause-
say now. But
because all his fans were thinking that too before.
Yeah.
You know, we
Yeah.
was making Shane comments. So
Yeah,
he made it in
exactly.
there.
and that's where Carl Papa was born. So
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
It
What
was
about
good.
you, Dawn?
Probably the same as everybody else. I mean, when I first watched The Grove, I was in awe. I was shocked. I was like traumatized there for a minute. I couldn't believe that they actually aired that.
Yeah.
So I think there's two different versions of that, aren't they?
Yep.
There's actually one that you see her body fall to the ground, and then there's
Yes.
one that you don't.
right,
I haven't
Netflix doesn't.
seen that.
Huh?
I haven't seen that. Maybe it's on the DVD set.
It is.
Well, Netflix, and I've seen that where you see her fall.
Yeah.
hmm
But when you go back to Netflix and watch it, they have edited
Yeah.
that out.
Distance it and all
Uh-huh.
that stuff.
Mhm.
So, well, I love The Grove.
Mhm.
Specifically because I have said before that Lizzie is my favorite bad guy in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Because she, we've got we had Negan and we had Alpha and we had all of those big baddies, but they were all just normal people except for Alpha. She was a little freaky from the very beginning, but all of those are just, they were normal people before, living their lives and doing their things, and they just became bad
Mm-hmm.
because of their circumstances. Well, Lizzie and Alpha, they're kind of the same type of person where they've always been that way.
Mhm.
She could have been Alpha's daughter, easy.
She could have, yes, because Lizzie is my favorite as bad guy because Lizzie was so young, and so the amount of evil, I guess, in her is compounded because she is so young, and there's nothing creepier, like David just said. It makes it even more creepier being a child, right? When you can see a true psychopath as a child, it's got a whole nother level of creepiness to it than seeing one as an adult.
Makes
Right.
you think of Jamie and Omen.
And
Yeah,
Carol would have had, her mindset would have changed if she'd known what Tyrese had learned at the end about the rats at the prison.
Right. Well, and they also, if you remember, when they're walking the tracks and they're talking about Tom Sawyer, and Mika even says to Lizzie, "You don't get creeped out by dead bunnies."
Right.
And
Because
so
she's the one who killed them.
yeah, So yes, Anissa, I do consider Lizzie a villain. I do, and she is my favorite villain so far in the series because she's the one who elicits the most creepiness for me.
And on top of that, she was a threat from within. The
Yeah.
group itself.
Exactly.
Not from out coming at them, but would walk with them.
Right. Because she was
She
supposedly
could have been around and done what she did to any of them, and they wouldn't have expected it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Alpha came at them immediately and they knew exactly what they were dealing with when she came at them. Lizzie was, they just thought she was an innocent child. So the level of threat there was even bigger.
Right.
Right.
So-
Because she had to be protected. They protected.
So I agree. But yeah, when Wes had mentioned earlier that they just had an oh shit moment where they just sat there and wasn't sure what they had just seen on the TV, I was the same way.
Mhm.
I liked that they did it, but I'm also the psychopath that loves the episode where Negan bashes Glenn and Abe in. So, so maybe I'm the psychopath and psychopath, gravitates towards psychopath. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
I think
my-
I think it draws us to what I think draws us to this episode is we put ourselves in Carol and we like, could we do that?
Yeah.
If that had to be done, could you do it?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, we even said, or Terry said, if it was real life, could that be done? And Barb said the same thing, and it's like, I don't know that I could do that. I don't know that I have that in me if I was in that position.
Right.
Because I feel like that's something that has to be done. Like, to me, Glenn and Abraham, they could have done something else, not bash their head in, but they couldn't do that with Lizzie. They had to do something.
Yeah.
But
And it had to be quick.
Yes.
pre-prison Carol would not have been able
She
to
could
do
have
it.
done it.
No. No.
It was after what she had to do because of the illness to protect the group.
Yeah.
She was able to be in that moment.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. And that, I think that when she put Karen and Dave down, I think that was the start of her transformation.
Yes. Yes.
I don't
Rick
think it
knew
was
it.
putting Lizzie down. I think it was putting David and Karen down.
It was putting them down, put her in a place where her mindset, she was able to do that because, and how she progresses to be able to save
Yeah.
the group
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
and
agree.
be the one that comes back from where she was.
Mhm.
Rick knew she could do that. That's why he sent her away.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was shocked that he did send her away. I understood why.
I was mad. That's the only time I've ever been mad at Rick.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, when she demolished Ed's body with that pickaxe, that was her reclaiming herself.
Yes.
But she didn't start her transformation until she took matters into her own hands with David and Karen.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And you've seen some of it in the prison too, where she told Andrea to kill the governor. You know,
Uh-huh.
you know what you got to do.
yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Sandy, I can take all the trash out, but that'll go against community standards or we'll be shut down again.
That's
The
Yeah.
only time, Carol, it's your robe.
It is. It's got to be the fact that I
It's
didn't have my robe on. I was too
robe.
sexy for my robe, is what it was.
I'm too sexy.
I think it was because you were going for the cardboard earlier.
That was pregame, dude. That was pregame.
I know I'm messing with you. I'm messing with
All right. Well,
Thank you guys for being on here with us, Terry and Kay. We
you.
love you
I
guys.
appreciate it.
We love you and we miss you guys terribly.
Miss y'all too.
Good choices. Okay, we like to thank our Patreons and financial supporters of the show. And we got some new ones too. How exciting. Destiny Lamar, Terry and Kay Collier, Sandy Wilson, Tracy Gillen Stokes, Ben and Melissa Gilbert, Pamela Blythe, Marianne Craig, Brandon Kay, Jason Cohn, and our very own Dustin Baker. And a very special thank you to Oscar and Casey.
Gotta love it.
I miss those faces, Terry and Kay's.
I know. I can't
Aw.
wait. Anissa asked if everyone is going to AtlantaCon. 3 of us are.
I'll be there in spirit.
We will be there in spirit.
We're trying to get Eliza to ship herself in a box, but
I'm trying to get myself to a point where I can come to the camp and enjoy the camp. So
So
Wesley and Sarah, Wesley and
Are they-
Sarah's not on the list.
are they Patreons?
Yes, they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Wesley, I am terribly sorry. That is my bad, buddy. I will add you guys to the list next week. So we'd like to thank Wesley and Sarah Hale too as being Patreons. We love them.
And speaking of Patreon, you have until February 2nd to get your 4 Patreons only t-shirt design into us to be considered. The winner will be selected and announced on February 14th. And then you will get an autographed 8x10 of Andrew Lincoln and Jeffrey Dean Morgan with a COA.
woohoo.
And where do they find us, Dawn?
You can find us on Facebook,
Right
and we have
there.
a Facebook group, which we do our games, and then we have a Facebook podcast page. So there's 2 different pages, guys. We are on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. And we do have merchandise, and of course, our Patreon, where we just talked about.
And why do people want to be Patreons?
Why do we want to be
If we
Patreons,
get
guys?
back. Mhm.
To help out the TWD community, to give back, to make this community special. What can I say?
Yep.
It's the best.
It is the best. And I will spend the next week apologizing to Wes and Sarah because
He said, nope, too late.
you know.
And guys, the new Patreons, thank you so much for joining and supporting us. It means a whole lot.
Yes, it does. And hopefully we will have some really cool stuff going on at the camp. And I can't wait to see everybody's faces at the camp. Who's excited for the camp? How many days we got left?
Too many. Too many.
We're still in the triple digits, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We are.
We have to recover after Atlanta.
And we have less than 5 weeks for the Rick and Michonne series.
That's right.
Yes. And we're going to have Wes and Sarah on closer to the camp because they are going to talk about Survive the Night. And if you guys have not done Survive the Night, you guys really need to try it. It is so fun.
Look at
So
her.
be sure to tune in. Yeah, be sure to tune in when we do that because that's their Survive the Night is very, very cool.
Yes,
So.
it is.
So and
Lisa, do you want to say who we have next Monday?
Next Monday, we have artist Matthew Atchley, who will be joining us.
Cool.
And then on February 5th, we will have the amazing and beautiful Sabrina Gennarino will be joining us. She played Tamil at the Heapsters. She was also in Pollyanna McIntosh, who will be coming to the camp, her movie Darling. And she's been in Jack Reacher.
she's been a Reacher.
Yeah, and she's got a new movie coming out called Honey Badger. So we're looking forward to being able to visit with her. And then we have on the 19th, the 12th,
Mick.
we have Mick Grimes. Michael Wilson will be coming.
Hey, Mick Daddy.
Mick Daddy. On the 19th, we have Kirk Manley, the artist. And then on the 22nd, we have Scott McCord, who plays Victor on From.
Yay.
Then we have the Rick series.
Yay, finally.
And we heard that the first 3 episodes are years gone by.
Yeah.
Like the days gone by from the first episode.
Oh, cool.
The Walking Dead. So it's kind of cool.
Awesome.
So there you have it. So
Thank you guys again for being with us tonight. We love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Love
Yeah,
you. Sorry we interrupted.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for watching and jumping back on when we got cut off, but we'll keep moving forward.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
night.